So now inside source folder, so we'll create one more folder, that is context. Okay, and inside context we'll create one file, svg edit context.js. Okay, and here we'll just import react from react const svg edit context equals to react dot create context, and then export default svg edit context. Okay, so our context is created. Let's create our reducer file and functions. Okay, this will be a huge file. So inside source we'll create reducer, and inside reducer we'll create svg edit reducer.js. So in this file we'll just write export default. Okay, and here we'll take state equals to initial state and action. Okay, and this initial state we can define here. Initial state equals to one object, and here we can define our application structure, right? So what all things we need across the application. So we need original svg, so by default this will be null. Then we need updated svg, so by default this also null. Then we need image url, so this will be null. And then for redo undo functionality we need history object also, so history, then here again history, then this will be an array, and then undo index. We need color mapper also, so this will be one object. Okay, then we need is export model, so this will be false, and then palette, so this will also be an array. Okay, so these are the only keys which is required right now. So we'll take produce from here, from immer. Okay, and inside here we'll write return produce, then state, this is the original state, and this will give you a draft, that the stage copy. And here we can write our switch cases. So switch action dot type, then our first case will be image url. Okay, before going to cases, I think these actions I need to define somewhere. So we can create one constant, okay, inside source folder. So constants, okay, and inside constants we can write action type .js. Okay, and here we can define all the actions. Okay, so export const image url equals to image url, then again export const original svg mapper, so equals to original svg mapper. Then third will be update color mapper, So this will be update color mapper, then const reset image, next will be open export model, then close export model, then next will be make history. So these are the actions which will perform in our application. Okay, next will be redo undo. So export const redo equals to redo, and then export const okay, then apply palette. So export const apply palette, and then last will be export const palette equals to palette. Okay, so these are the actions we required in our application. So let's close this. So these are the action type. We can import it here. So import from const action type. Okay, so first we'll import image URL. So in this case we'll write draft dot image URL, which is this one, equals to action dot payload. Okay, so next case will be original SVG string. Original SVG, sorry, string. I'm not sure I created this one. Original SVG string. This one is string. Original SVG string. And the other one is update color mapper. Okay, this is correct only. Okay, sorry, my bad. So this is original SVG string. Okay, so this case we'll write draft dot original SVG equals to action dot payload, draft dot color mapper equals to, so because this is the first time we are getting original SVG string, right? So we'll fetch the original color from the SVG also. We'll write a function here, get original color from SVG. So we'll pass the original SVG here, draft dot original SVG. Okay, now we'll create this function. So this function we can create here only. So SVG string, because we need all the SVG colors, so I think so I will create a library function here. So what we can do, return, then we'll write one function, get all SVG colors. Okay, and here I will pass SVG string dot reduce a comma v. Okay, then we'll spread a comma. Okay, and here we'll pass empty object. Okay, now we need to create this get all SVG color. So we'll create this in our library function, because it's not a good idea to pollute this file, right? These are the common function or library functions. So what we can do, inside our source again, we'll create one folder that is library. Okay, and inside library we'll write helper.js. Okay, so in helper.js we'll write export const get all SVG colors. So we'll take SVG string from here. Okay, and here we'll write let colors equals to empty array, colors dot push method here is get all RGB colors, and here we'll pass SVG string, and here down we can write return colors. Okay, and this function will create here const get all RGB colors, and here we'll take SVG string. Okay, we'll write let colors equals to empty array. Then if SVG string is there, then do something else, just return colors. Okay, then inside here we'll write let find RGB equals to so we'll write one regex here, so I will just copy that regex. In this way we can get all the colors from the SVG, right? Then we can write colors equals to SVG string dot match. So find RGB or empty array. Okay, like that. Okay, so second will be colors dot push get colors from style fill. Okay, we'll take all the fill colors. So here also we'll pass SVG string. Okay, let's create this function. Here also we'll take colors, and if SVG string is there, then we'll write SVG string dot replace, and inside replace we'll pass one regex. Okay, comma, then function, and here I will take and then we'll do colors dot push C. Okay, and return V, and here we'll write return colors. Okay, then the last method is to fetch the colors is colors dot push get colors from fill attribute. We'll pass SVG string here again, and this method will be little bigger actually. Here also we'll take SVG string. Here we'll write const parser equals to new DOM parser. Okay, const doc equals to parser dot parse from string, and we'll pass SVG string comma image slash SVG plus XML. Okay, then we'll write element const elements equals to get. So this is again one function where we are getting all the elements which is having fill and style, like that. Get all elements with attribute. So we'll pass doc here and comma. We'll pass the attribute here like fill and then style. Okay, let's create this method again. Const get elements with attribute, and here we'll take doc and fill comma style. Okay, let matching elements equals to an empty array. Let all elements equals to doc dot get elements by tag name. Okay, then for let I equals to 0 comma n equals to all elements dot length I smaller than n, then I plus plus. Okay, here we'll write if all elements I dot get attribute fill or all elements I dot get attribute style. Okay, so here if we'll find anything, we'll write matching elements dot push all elements I. Okay, and after that we'll just return matching elements like this. Okay, now we get the elements which are matched. After that we'll write const colors equals to empty array, and we'll write elements dot for each const color equals to e dot get attribute fill. So if color and color not equals to none and colors dot index of color equals to -1. Okay, then we'll write colors dot push color. Okay, after this we'll write const style attribute equals to e dot get attribute style. So let color 2 equals to null if style attribute is there, then we'll write color 2 equals to get colors from fill, and we'll write style attribute here. So this is a function we need to create again here. So const get colors from fill equals to, then we'll take the input string, let res equals to null if input string is there, then do something, and here we'll just write return res. Okay, then inside here we'll write input string dot replace, take on regex here this one, comma, and we'll take v and c here, and we'll write res equals to c return v. Okay, like this. So we get the colors from fill here. Okay, now after this, if color2 and colors dot index of color2 is equals to -1, okay, then colors dot push color2. Now after all this we'll just return color here, colors. Okay, so now I think we created all the functions which are fetching the colors from the SVG. Okay, so after this third function we'll just write colors equals to new set colors. Okay, so this function we are calling from reducer right here. So this will get all the colors, and this get original colors from SVG will get the colors from here. Okay, so color mapper is done. Okay, so now after this we'll write draft dot updated SVG equals to update SVG. So here we'll pass draft dot original svg comma draft dot color mapper. Okay, so this update svg will create here const update svg. So this will take input string comma color map. So here again we'll create a library function. So return replace all string color. So we'll pass input string here comma color map. Okay, and this function, so this function will create here, we'll write export const replace all string color, and here we'll take svg string comma map, and we'll write object dot keys, then map dot map. We'll take key here, and inside we'll write svg string equals to svg string dot split, and we'll pass key here, then join, and we'll write map, then we'll take the key. Okay, then after this we'll write return svg string. So this will replace all the colors in the svg, okay, with the color mapper. Okay, so this is also done. Now we'll again come back here. Okay, after this update svg we'll write draft dot history equals to history. So here we'll write updated svg is to draft dot updated svg comma image url. So draft dot image url, then color mapper is to draft dot color mapper. Okay, and after this here we'll write undo index is to 0, and after this we'll write break here. Okay, so this case is also done. Now let's come to the next case. So next will be case update color mapper, this one. Okay, here we'll write draft dot color mapper, and we'll take action dot payload dot key. So these things will pass from component later. Okay, so equals to action dot payload dot value, and then we'll write draft dot updated svg equals to update svg, and we'll pass draft dot original svg, then draft dot color mapper. Okay, so again this will call this and again replace color. Okay, so after this we'll write draft dot image url equals to update image url. So draft dot updated svg. So this function we need to create. So here we'll write const update image url equals to, we'll take input string, and here again we'll create one library function. So svg to base 64 and we'll pass input string here. Okay, this function will create in library, helper file. So we'll create it here, export const svg to base 64, and here we'll take svg string. Okay, we'll write return, then data is to image slash svg plus xml. Okay, then base 64 plus window dot btoa, and then we'll pass svg string here. Okay, this will give us a base 64 image. Okay, again we'll come here and we need to import this also, and I think this also, yeah. Okay, then after this we'll just write break here. Okay, so update color mapper is also done. And then we'll write the next case is reset image, and here we'll write draft dot color mapper equals to get original colors from svg, and here we'll pass a draft dot original svg. Okay, so this method we already have here, so it will work fine. Okay, now the next will be draft dot updated svg equals to update svg, and here we'll pass original svg and color mapper. So we'll write draft dot original svg comma draft dot color mapper. Now next one is we'll update the image url also. So draft dot image url equals to update image url, and we'll pass draft dot updated svg. Okay, and then we'll update the history also. So draft dot history equals to history object, then history, then array. Okay, here we'll write updated svg is to draft dot updated svg, and image url is to draft dot image url, and color mapper is to draft dot color mapper. Okay, here we'll write undo index, so this will be 0. Again we are resetting everything. So here we'll just write break. So this case is also over. Okay, so next case is open export model and close export model. So these cases are very simple. So open export model, draft dot is export model equals to true, and the second one is close export model, draft dot is export model equals to false. Okay, so other one is make history. So here we'll import this action also. So here a make history function, this we need to create just now, and we'll pass the draft here. Okay, so we'll just create make history function. So const make history. Okay, so this is state copy. So let new history equals to empty array, let state clone equals to json dot parse json dot stringify state copy. Okay, so we are just cloning, it's kind of deep cloning. Okay, then new history equals to state copy dot history dot slice. So 0 comma state copy dot history dot undo index plus 1. Okay, so here we are creating a new history, and then state copy dot history is equals to new history dot concat, and here we'll write updated svg is to state clone dot updated svg comma image url is to state clone dot image url, and color mapper is to state clone dot color mapper. Okay, and here at the last we'll write state copy dot history dot undo index plus equals to 1. Okay, so we are incrementing the undo index also. Okay, so make history function is also done, and now next case is undo and redo. So we'll take a case undo. So here we'll create a new function which is undo function, and we'll pass the draft here, and we'll write break. Okay, and now we'll create this function also here. So const undo, we'll take state copy, and here we'll write if state copy dot history dot undo index is equals to 0, then don't do anything. Okay, else const history step equals to state copy dot history dot undo index -1, and we'll write const history state equals to state copy dot history, and we'll take the history step. Okay, then we'll write state copy dot history dot undo index equals to history step, and then we'll write state copy dot updated svg equals to history state dot updated svg. Okay, then we'll write state copy dot image url equals to history state dot image url, and last state copy dot color mapper equals to history state dot color mapper. Okay, so in this way we can create a and these should be 3 equals to. Okay, so in this way we can create a undo action. Okay, now this other case will be redo. Okay, here we'll create a function redo, and we'll pass the draft again. There should be redo. Okay, and here we'll write break. Okay, let's create this function also. So const redo, then state copy. Okay, in redo function we'll check if state copy dot history dot undo index is equals to state copy dot history dot length -1. If they are equal, then return, don't do anything. Else const history step equals to state copy dot history dot undo index plus 1 and const history state equals to state copy dot history then history step. So we get the history state. Okay, now if history state is not there, then just return, don't do anything. Okay, if it's there, then state copy dot history dot undo index equals to history step and then state copy dot updated SVG equals to history state dot updated SVG. Then again state copy dot image URL equals to history state dot image URL and state copy dot color mapper equals to history state dot color mapper. Okay, so this way we created redo functionality. Now we'll write apply palette. So we'll write one more case, apply palette, and we'll create a function apply palette. So here we'll pass action dot payload comma draft. Okay, and this should be a new function. So apply palette. Okay, we need to create this function. So const apply palette equals to, so here we'll take palette and state copy. So state copy, and here we'll write const update object equals to empty object, and we'll write const RGB palette equals to palette dot map. So we'll take the item and we'll write a function to convert hex to RGB object. So we'll write hex to RGB object. So we'll pass item here. So this is again one function which will use one external library which we already installed in the beginning, color convert, right? So what we can do inside a library, okay, so we can create a new file that will be color convert .js. Okay, and here we can import convert from color convert. Okay, and then we'll export a function here, export const hex to RGB object equals to, then we'll take an input and we'll write a const list equals to convert dot hex dot RGB, and we'll pass input, and this will return RGB. So we can write R is to list 0 element, and then G is to list first element, and then B is to list second element. We are here only, so we'll write one more function here for the future use. So export const RGB to hex. Okay, so this is a reverse thing. So this will also take input, here we'll write return convert dot rgb dot hex and we'll pass input here. Okay, so this is done. We'll close this one and here we'll just import this file. I import this function. So I don't know why it's not giving suggestions, but okay, we'll import it here. So import from library, then color convert. Okay, and we can import hex to RGB. Okay, I think spelling is wrong. Why it's not TGB, it's RGB. Hex to RGB. I think I made some mistake, so let's fix that. So inside this function, inside this folder, so inside here I think the spelling is wrong only. So hex to RGB. Okay, so this thing I need to hex to RGB. Okay, now it's connected. Okay, and so this is done. So apply palette में hex to RGB, we get the RGB palette here. Okay, now const, so we'll take color mapper from state copy, then we'll write for const key in color mapper and we'll write const input color equals to hex to RGB object and we'll pass key. Okay, then we'll write const output color RGB equals to, okay, so we'll write closest color. So here we'll pass input color and we'll pass RGB palette. Okay, so now we'll write this function also. Okay, so this will also use one external library, so I will just write in the library only one more file. So this file name will be color-diff .js. Okay, and here we'll write import from color-diff. Okay, and we'll import diff from here. Okay, now we'll write two functions, export const closest color. So here we'll take color comma palette. Okay, and here we'll just return diff dot closest, then we'll pass color comma palette. Okay, so this will give you the diff of the colors. Now we'll write one more function, so export const furthest color, so color comma palette, return diff dot furthest and we will pass color palette. Okay, so these functions also done. Now so we have this closest color now. I don't know why it's not giving suggestions. Let's import it here. Import from library, then color-diff. Okay, so after this when we get the output color RGB, okay, we'll write const RGB array equals to object dot values, then we'll pass output color RGB. Okay, why spelling is wrong? Color output color RGB. Okay, and after that I will write const hex color equals to RGB to hex. Okay, RGB array, we'll pass it here. Now so we already have this function here, right? So after this we'll just write update object key equals to, then we'll write hash, we'll concatenate here and we'll write hex color like this. Okay, after this we'll write state copy dot color mapper equals to state copy dot color mapper comma update object. Then again state copy dot updated SVG equals to update SVG. Then we'll pass state copy dot original SVG comma state copy dot color mapper. Then in the end we'll write state copy dot image URL equals to update image URL. Then state copy dot updated SVG. Okay, apply palette is also done. So okay, so now next case is palette. Okay, this one here we'll just write draft dot palette equals to action dot payload. So whatever comes from component we'll just pass it here, and the last one is default. Okay, here we'll just return draft. Okay, so if okay, we have to import this undo also. Okay, other things are imported only. Okay, we'll see when any bugs will come, we'll fix that at that moment only. Okay, so I think reducer is also done. This is very big file, I know, but I hope these are small functions only, and these are individual functions only, so I think it is not very difficult. Okay, okay, so next we'll integrate this reducer with our app.js. Okay, so I'll just close this file helper also. Okay, now it's time to like remove this temp image, right? So what we can do here in the app.js, we can write const, we can use useReducer from React, right? This one, and here we can pass SVG edit reducer, which we just now created. This one, I don't know why it's not giving suggestions, but we can see. Okay, so what we can do here is we can import manually. So import from reducer SVG reducer. Okay, so here we can write SVG edit reducer. Okay, so now this is imported here, and okay, so here what we need is initial state also we need to pass. So initial state, but we don't have initial state right now, right? And it's not imported exported from SVG reducer also. So what we can do is so we need this initial state. So there are two options: either you can copy this again and paste it here also and just use it as an initial state, or in this file only you can write export const initial state. So you're like exporting two things, one is default and one is exporting initial state, right? So now here you can actually import initial state also, like this. Okay, and this initial state will actually connect it to this one. Okay, so this is done, and from here you can get state comma dispatch. Okay, so this state has everything which is like what we created just now in reducer, right? And dispatch is a function where you actually dispatch actions and do something. Okay, now what we can do, so first thing first, here we can actually write provider for that context. Okay, okay, so like sometime back we created context also in the context folder, which is actually here. So svg edit context, right? So what we can do, svg edit context dot provider. Okay, and we can wrap this whole card inside this. Okay, and this we need to import here also. So import svg edit context from context svg edit context. Okay, so now we wrapped here with provider. Now we can pass value here. So this value we can access anywhere from the application. So we can just pass state and dispatch. Okay, like this. So now this is done. Okay, it says some error, close export model is not defined in svgreducer.js. Okay, so line number 73. Okay, we need to import this also. Okay, okay, now I think no errors. So now instead of this temp image, right? So what we can do, we use temp image. Okay, in these three places. Okay, so what we can do here is we can take image URL from state dot image URL. Okay, same thing we can copy here also and here also, right? And now we can actually remove so we are actually we are calling set temp image here also, so we can just comment it out, and this we can remove because we are no longer needed this, because we are getting the image URL from state. Okay, now after this whenever we are actually getting the uploaded file, right? So what we can do here is dispatch type will be image URL. Okay, and payload is data. This not required, so we will remove this, also not required. Okay, and same here also. So for the svg data, we'll just write original svg string. Okay, like this. So these functions we already created there in the reducer, if you remember. Okay, so this is fixed. Now we can actually get the palettes also. So we need some palette constant also. So in the constant folder, we can create one constant.js. Constants.js. Okay, so I'll just copy some color palettes here. So like this. So you can see here, right? Like this. These ones. So blue, light blue, some gray, then orange, pink. So these colors, these are the array of colors. You can give any array of colors. Okay. So now this list we can call it here. So we'll write useEffect. Okay. So we'll write get palette, okay. We'll write this function now, const get palettes. So this will only call once whenever we like initiate the application or reload the application. Okay, here we'll write dispatch and type will be palettes and payload, so this will be palette list. So we need to import that palette list from the constant. So what we can do, import from constants, and we can import palette list from here, and same list we can pass it here. Okay, so whenever like this application initiate like reloads, it will call this use effect once, then get palette, it will dispatch and store this palette in the context. Okay, so I think this file is pretty much done. Yeah, this is okay. But so here we are dispatching. Okay, I don't know why it's not working. We'll check it. So get uploaded file, it is dispatching image URL, then data, then get uploaded SVG file, then original. Okay, so we'll just okay, let's print this state here. Okay, so this is a default state. So when we upload image here, okay, that time, okay, these are not populating. Why? Okay, so now we need to check the reducer. So whenever we call this actions, okay, so we'll go to reducer and we'll check image URL. So action.payload, then image URL. So okay, so we'll check it here only in the source. One second, let me move this down here. Okay, so we'll take this reducer and we'll put the breakpoint here. We'll see if this action.payload is coming here or not. Okay, it is not coming here, right? I don't know how it came here, but this is not selection, this is action. Okay, I think some typo is there. So this is action.type. Okay, now if we just refresh this, okay, so everything is working fine. Now we can move forward. Okay, so now let's create this item colors and palettes. Okay, so for that we can go inside components and left sidebar, and this one. So here this is the color section and this is a color palette. Okay, so what we can do here is, so first we need to create const state dispatch equals to use context, and we'll take SVG edit context. Okay, like this. So now we have state and dispatch both. So now what we can do inside this color section, okay, I can remove this here now, and we can write state dot color mapper. If it's there, then we can write object dot keys state dot color mapper dot map, and we can take key comma index, and here we can create one more component, so that will be color pill. Okay, and here we can pass key, so that will be I, and pill color, so that will be state dot color mapper, then key. Okay, then handle color change. So here we get the value, and we'll write one new method that will be handle color change, same name, and we can pass key comma value like this. Okay, and we'll write one more capture change. Okay, here we can write dispatch, and then type this will be make history. Okay, this curly braces is not required. Okay, let's create this color pill right now. So inside component, we will create one folder that is color pill. Okay, we'll create two files, one is JS, one is SCSS. Here we'll write const color pill, and then export default color pill. Okay, for this color pill we are expecting some props, that is one is pill color, then handle color change, and capture change. Okay, so after that we'll write const color comma set color equals to use state, and we'll write pill color by default here. Okay, we'll take one more use state, that is visible comma set visible. So use state, by default it will be false. Okay, so we'll write one use effect also. Okay, this will run whenever pill color is changing, so pill color. Okay, and here we'll write set color pill color. So after this we'll write a return, and here we can take popover, which is from end design, and inside here we can take get popover container, so that will be trigger node like this. Okay, next will be overlay class name, so that we can give color pill popover, then placement will be bottom, content will be custom color picker, that is again another component, so we'll write in a like moment. Okay, so other things we required is trigger, so this will be click, then visible, so visible like this, then on visible change, So this will be handle visible change like this. Okay, and inside here, so this is a function we need to create here. So I will just create a dummy function here right now. Okay, and here new visible, and we can write set visible equals to new visible like this. Okay, so inside here we can write a button, and button type is link, and class name will be, we'll just give no padding here. Okay, and inside here we'll create a div again. So for this div, class name will be color pill container, and we'll just give one style, so that will be background, so this will be pill color. Okay, so I think this is done. So we'll just write CSS for this, then we'll write this content. Okay, so for this CSS, okay, first we'll just import CSS here. Okay, then we'll just take color pill container, this one, and here we'll write width 22px and height will be 22px, border radius, this will be 50px, and border will be 2px solid, and RGB 000 divided by 10%. Okay, like this. Okay, next is color pill popover, this one. So here we need to write some, we need to customize some and design classes only. So I will just copy paste here. So and popover placement button, this is like padding top. So I'm just like customizing little bit. And popover inner also, I'm just giving some radius, box shadow I'm just removing, and inner content padding I'm removing. Okay. So this is fine. Now let's come to this content. So for this we need to create a new component, so that is custom color picker. So custom color picker, okay, like this, and here we'll just pass color equals to color, and update color picker equals to update color picker. Okay, this function will create, then get hex code. So this also one function, get hex code. Okay, and then capture change equals to capture change. Okay, so this function we are calling from that upper level. Okay, now we need a method update color picker. So const update color picker, and here we'll get the color object, and we'll just write set color object. Okay, and for get hex code, so const So here we'll get the value, and we'll write handle color change. So this we are getting from the upper component, this one. Okay, we are calling that method only, and we'll just pass value there like this. Okay, now let's create this custom color picker. Okay, so for this we'll go to component again, create a folder, and folder name will be custom color picker. Inside that we'll just create two files, one is JS, one is SCSS. Okay, so here we'll write const custom color picker and export default custom color picker. Okay, and here we'll get color comma update color picker. Okay, get hex code and then capture change and comma whatever props we are getting, like that. So we'll write return. Okay, here we'll write div and class name will be color picker container. Then we'll write space here that we are getting from end design. Okay, like this. And for this space, direction will be vertical and size will be 15, and we'll give one class that is full width. Then here inside we'll just write a div. Again, class name will be saturation picker. So we are building these things actually. So whenever you are clicking on any color pill, right? So one is this box, then these colors, then this slider, input box, copy button, and this. So we are actually talking about this one. Okay, so saturation picker. After that we'll write on mouse down, handle on mouse down, then on mouse up, handle on mouse up. So these functions will create here. Okay, and here we'll call capture change. So this is just to like make the history. So handle mouse down, again capture change. So now inside this we'll create our first color picker. So this will be saturation. Okay, so this will come from a React color library. So we can get it from there like this. Okay, so this is a saturation. It will come from React color lib component common. Okay, so here in saturation we can give props, then on change. So this will be handle change, and one is pointer. So this will be saturation picker, like this. Okay, so now we'll create this handle change, and here we'll get the data, and inside this we'll call this update color picker with the data. Okay, like this. Now the second one is this saturation pointer. So for this we'll just write return div. Sorry, this is a self-closing div. Then we'll write class name, and the class name will be saturation picker pointer. Okay, then after saturation, so here after this we'll create a new div. So here class name will be circle picker, and here we'll write circle picker, which is coming from react color, and here we'll write on change, that will be handle change. Now on change complete, so that will be handle change circle picker, handle change circle picker. So this function will create now. So here also we'll write capture change. So whenever we are picking any color from this circle picker, so whenever that handle change completes, okay, that time it will trigger and will capture that change and make a history out of it. Okay, then after that, circle size, so this will be 16. Then circle spacing, so this will be 11, and we have to pass some colors also, so that I will copy paste. You can pass any color here. So we are actually talking about these things, these colors. You can pass any colors. So this is done now. So another is hue picker. Okay, and here on mouse down, so handle on mouse down and on mouse up, handle on mouse up. Okay, like this. These functions we already created, so we are using those functions only. Then inside here we'll just write hue. Okay, and first thing we'll just like pass whatever props we are getting. Okay, then on change, and this one will be handle change, and then pointer. So this will be other pointer, so I will just create this pointer now like this. So you can just write return and then div and other pointer, picker pointer. This is a class, we'll just write a CSS for this later. Okay, so this is also done. Hue. Then next one is text picker. So we'll just create a div again, then class name will be text picker. Here we'll write space and direction will be horizontal. Okay, here we'll write input dot group. Okay, so input dot group, and we'll write compact. Then class name will be text picker input group. Okay, like this. And inside this we'll write editable group, editable input, sorry. So for this editable input we'll write style and we'll give a wrap. So we'll write flex 1 comma width is 200%. Okay, then we'll write input height is to 32, then width is to 100%, border is to 1px solid, then some color and border radius. So this is 5px 0 0, then again 5px, padding left, so this is 10px, and background, so this is a background color. Okay, so after this we'll take value, so this will be props not hex, and on change, so this will be handle change input, handle change input. Okay, this function will create just now. So here we can write const handle change input, and here we will get the data. Okay, we'll write handle change and we'll pass the data here, and we'll write capture change. Okay, so after this we'll write div. So this is a self-closing div, and here we'll write style. So background will be props.hex and class name. So this will be color preview. Okay, so I think this is done, but there are some errors. We'll fix those first. So here it says on left side, acha, color pill is not defined. Okay, so here line number 25. So we'll just call this one. Okay. Okay, it says custom color picker is not defined. So in color pill, okay. So custom color picker. Okay, and this is also defined now. Okay, on left sidebar, line number 29, it says handle color change is not defined. Okay, so we need to create this function. I forgot to create this. So here we can write const handle color change. So we get key comma value from here. So here we can write dispatch type is to update color mapper, and payload will be key comma value, like this. So I think no errors right now. Okay, so in custom color picker, so we need to write one use effect also. So whenever props.hex will change, okay, so this will call get hex code props.hex, like this. Okay, and for this custom color picker file, so whenever we are exporting this, so here we have to wrap this in a custom picker also. So this is required by this library. So whenever we are creating a custom picker, so we have to, if we want to get their functionality, so we have to wrap this in the custom picker, like this. Okay, and this is actually coming from React color. Okay, let's check this one now. Yeah, okay, because we didn't write CSS, but it's working fine. See, so we can actually change the colors. Okay, so now let's write the CSS for this. For this custom color picker. Okay, first we'll import the custom color picker .scss. So now first we'll pick this color picker container. Okay, so for color picker container we'll write background white, padding will be 10 px, border 1 px, solid, then some gray color. In box shadow I will just copy. So box shadow, then border radius 5 px, width to 200 px, then display flex, align item center, justify content center, box sizing border box. Okay, after that saturation picker. So here we'll write a width 100%, height is also 100%, position relative, border radius 5 px, and overflow hidden. Okay, so after that we need circle picker. So width will be 100%, display flex, align item center, then justify content also center. Then hue picker is there. So width will be 100%, height will be 12 px, border radius 5 px, overflow hidden, position relative. Okay, so after hue picker we have text picker. So here we will write width 100%, display flex, align item center, and justify content center. Okay, inside text picker input group, display flex, then we'll write input focus, and here we'll write outline 0. So now we'll take color preview, and for this we'll write height 32 px, width also 32 px, and border radius that will be 5 px. Okay, now we need to style these two classes also. So saturation picker pointer, so width will be 12 px, height 12 px, position relative, left -6 px or top -6 px, border radius this will be 50 px, background RGBA 255, 255, 255, 0.1, border is to 2 px solid white, then box shadow and box sizing border box. Okay, and for other picker pointer, width 12 px, height 12 px, position relative, left -6, border radius 50 px, background RGBA 255, 255, 255, 0.1, border 2 px solid white, box shadow, and then box sizing border box. Okay, so this is looking weird. Okay, I think this is missing. Okay, in color picker this should be colors, not color. Okay, this is fixed. And for saturation, okay, we need to check this, why saturation is not working. Okay, so for saturation in CSS, it is not the height is not 100%, it's 100 px. So now if we check this, yeah, so now this is working fine. So we can change the colors also. So now let's create this palette. I will close this one. So in left sidebar, this is a palette section. So we can write state dot palette dot map item dot I. Okay, here we'll create a button, and for this button we'll write style border left 2px solid item 0, and then class name. So this will be palette block. Then here block key will be I, and on click. So here we can call handle palette change, and we can pass item here. Okay, this function is not written yet, so we'll write this function. We'll get palette, and here we can just dispatch. So type will be apply palette and payload will be palette. Okay, inside button we can write text, and for text we can give class name that will be palette block title. Okay, and inside here we can write hash and then concatenate with I, and here we can write color group, and we can pass item items item. Okay, so this color group is not created yet. So we'll go to the components, and here I will create a UI folder. Okay, inside UI I will just create a new folder that is color group. Okay, inside this I will create two files. One is color group.js and one is color group.scss. Okay, inside JS we can write const color group export default. So export default color group. Okay, and here we can get items, and we can simply return button group button dot group. So this button will get from Andy. Okay, and class name will be color group, and size will be small. Okay, inside we'll get items dot map item comma I, and here we can create div. So this is self-closing div. We can give a class name. So this will be a dynamic class name with so you can give color, and then the other one is a dynamic class. So get first and last element, then key. So this will be I, style background is to item comma border color is to item. Okay, now we need to create this method. We'll get I, then if I is equals to 0, then return first, else if I is equals to items dot length -1. Okay, then we'll return last, else we'll return empty. Okay, for this we'll write some CSS. So first we'll take this class color group. Okay, inside that we'll take color. We'll write width 20 px, height 20 px. Okay, then we'll take first. So here we'll write border radius 50 px, 0 0 50 px. Here we'll write border radius 0 50 px, 50 px 0. Okay, this is also done. Color group is not defined, so we'll go here and we'll just import this. Okay, so here you can see all the color groups, but why color is not coming? Okay, so here this is color group. The C should be capital. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so now we get the palettes here. So if you click, okay, it's throwing error now. Let's debug what is the problem. So it says cannot read property of undefined reading hex color convert. Okay, this should be RGB, not RBG. Okay. Okay, so this is color convert. We can go color convert. So this should be RGB. Okay, and here also the spelling is wrong only. RGB. Okay, we'll fix this. Okay, we'll fix in reducer also. This one. So this should be RGB. Okay, let's check now. Okay, it's still throwing error. Let's see. Items.map is not a function. Color group.js. Okay, items.map. Okay, so I got one mistake here. So in reducer, after this palette, we need to write make history and we need to pass draft, and here we forgot to add break also. I think here also we forgot. Yeah. Okay, let's check now. Okay, so now palette is also working. Okay, now I think changing color and palette is working fine. So now the only thing left is this section, undo, redo, and reset and export. So I think we can close this here in edit container. Okay. So first of all, we'll take const equals to useContext and take SVG edit context. Okay, so we don't need state from here, so we can just write comma and we can take dispatch from here. Okay, so for undo and redo functionality, I guess here, so here we can write on click and we can write dispatch and type will be undo. I don't know, sometime it's not taking suggestions. Yeah, now it's working. Okay, so same thing goes here also. So we need to write a redo. Okay, so I think now redo undo will work. See, now it's working. Okay, then for reset we'll just write on click reset. I will create this function in a minute, and for export we'll write handle export. Okay, for reset we'll create a function here. So here we'll simply dispatch and type will be reset image. Okay, and for handle export, okay, here we'll write dispatch and type will be open export model. Okay, I think this is done. So reset will also work here. Okay, export model will not work because we didn't create an export model right now. So let's create that export model. That is the last thing I think pending. Okay, so this is our export model. Okay, so for export model, in the component we'll create a folder export model, and we'll create one file export model.js. Okay, here we will write const export model and down export default export model. Okay, here we will write return. We'll use ND drawer. Okay, for this drawer we'll create title, so that will be export option Then placement, this will be right on close, so this will be on close. Okay, this is a function we'll create. Then visible, so here we can, so for this we need to grab our context. Okay, so now we can write state dot is export modal. Okay, we can create this on close function also. So here we can simply dispatch, so type will be close export modal. Okay, inside this we'll create a segmented view. Okay, like this, and here we'll pass block options, default value, okay, then value and on change. So for options, so we can create a constant here because we need only two options, one is SVG, one is image. Okay, and we can pass this export option here, and for default value we can actually give first value like SVG as a default value, and for value, so we can create a useState here. So const export tab comma set export tab equals to useState, and we can pass export option and the first value. Okay, so here we can pass export option, sorry, export tab. And for on change we can take value from here and then set export tab value. Okay, after this we can write divider, then we'll take space from ND, class name will be full width, size will be 50, direction will be vertical, we'll pass wrap also, and align center. Okay, inside this space I will pass image, so this is also from end design, so width will be 200 and source will be state dot image URL, and down here we can pass the render function, so render export tab option, so here we can pass export tab. Okay, we'll create this function now. So here we'll take a key, and if key is equals to SVG, then return render SVG tab option. Okay, this function will create here. So here we'll return space, then button, and we'll write download SVG. And for this button we can give type primary and on click handle export, and we can pass the export type, that is SVG. Okay, this handle export we need to create here. Okay, so this will create in some time. So now if this is not SVG, else if key is equals to image, then return image export. So this component we need to create, and here we'll pass handle export, default dimensions equals to export image size. So this export image size will be a state. So we need to create const export image size comma set export image size equals to use state, and by default it will be null. Okay, so now here we need to create one use effect also, and this use effect will run whenever is export model changes. So if is export model is true, then set export tab to export options, the first option. Okay, and we need to get the SVG info also, like SVG size or other things. Okay, so this function we need to create here, get SVG info. So this will be async function. Okay, and here we'll write const SVG info equals to await. So parse SVG. So this function we need to create in a library folder. So we'll pass state dot updated SVG. Okay, like this. So we'll create this function. So we'll go to library folder, and here we'll create SVG parser. Okay, so here we need a third-party tool, that is svgson. We already like installed in the beginning. So import from svgson, okay, this one, and we need to import parse. Okay, we'll create a method export const parse svg equals to async, and here we'll get svg and return await parse svg. Okay, we need to create a new method, one more method, that is export const svg dimension. So this will give you the dimensions like width, height of the svg. So here we'll get svg info, let width equals to 100, let height is equals to 100. These are default values if we are not getting. Here is if svg info dot attributes dot view box. Okay, if these are there, then const, okay, we just need width and height from svg info dot attributes dot view box dot split Okay, after that we need to get width equals to w and height equals to height h, else if svg info dot attribute dot width and svg info dot attribute dot height, if these are there, then width equals to svg okay, what is this svg info, oh this is wrong, svg info here also svg info. Okay, so svg info dot attribute dot width and height is equals to svg info dot attribute dot height. Okay, then after this return width comma height. Okay, this file is done, so I'll close this one, and in export model we'll import this svg parse. Okay, we'll import manually. Import from svg parser. So we need svg parse, then we need to write const width comma height equals to svg dimension. Okay, this also we are getting from svg parser, just now we created, and here we'll pass svg info. Okay, then after that we'll write export, set export image size, and there we'll just set width comma height. So svg info is also done. Okay, now we need to write handle export. So before that, I think we can check how it is looking. Export model is not defined, so edit container, we need to import this. Okay, export model use context is not defined, use context is not defined, then is export model is not defined, image export is not defined. Okay, so is export model, line number 15. Okay, this should be state dot is export model, state dot is export model. Okay, and one is line number 52 image export, line number 52. Okay, this we never created, right? We need to, okay, so before export we'll create this image export. Okay, so now what we have to do is, so in export model we'll create one more folder file, image export .js. Okay, so here we'll write const image export, then export default image export, and here we'll get handle export comma default dimension. So now here we'll write a return, we'll take space, and for this space we'll write direction, vertical, and size will be large. Okay, inside this we'll write tooltip, and title will be, so W is to default dimension dot width, and H will be default dimension dot height. Okay, like this. Now inside tooltip we'll create a button, and button properties will be block, then on click. So here we'll call handle export, and we'll give the type image, comma default dimension. Okay, and the button text will be original size, like this. Okay, image export is not defined, so we'll import it here. Okay, let's try. It's not complete, but we'll see how it's working now. Yeah, so this is coming perfectly, right? Okay, let's continue. So now okay, so now in export model, for handle export, so this will be async function, and here we'll pass key and payload. By default it will be empty object. Okay, now inside this, if key is equals to SVG, then download SVG, else if key is equals to image, then download image. Okay, now we need to create a method to download these things. So that will be download SVG as a text, and one is download SVG as an image, and we will pass state dot updated SVG, and here state dot updated SVG comma payload. Okay, so now we need to write these functions. So again in library we'll create one more file, that is export.js. So here we'll write export const download SVG as text. We'll take SVG here. Okay, then we'll write const a equals to document dot create element, that is a, const e equals to new mouse event, that is click, a dot download equals to download.svg. You can give any name, or you can randomly create name also. A dot href, that is svg to base 64 svg. So this method we already created in helper. A dot dispatch event e. Okay, so with the help of this we can download the SVG. So if I just comment this image download wala part, then we can test it out. I don't know why export button is not there. Okay, let's import this also. Let's see. Okay, so I think here key should be capital SVG. Okay, now button is there. So if you click here, it will download the SVG. Okay, so SVG download is working fine. You can actually try with different colors also. So let's say I change the color of the SVG and then export and download SVG. So it will download with the latest color. Okay, so this is perfectly working. Now we need to create a image download wala part. Okay, so let's uncomment this and go to image export. Sorry, not image export, export.js. Here we need to create a new method. So that will be export const download SVG as image. This will be async, and here we'll get SVG comma width comma height. So here is the code for downloading this as an image. Okay, first I will test this, then we'll discuss about this. Okay, download SVG image is not defined, so I think here we need to import this. Okay, SVG to base 64 is not defined. Okay, now this should work. Okay, so okay, this is working fine. Okay, so here similar things we are doing. So actually I get this code from online only. Okay, so here we are creating a canvas element, and then we'll create a image element. Okay, then we are creating a base 64 SVG to base 64. That is a kind of image only, but image data. Okay, then we are writing this onload function. Okay, and we are setting the width and height whatever we are getting from the component. Okay, from there, so there you can give as many as option, like whatever image size you want to manipulate there, you can just manipulate there and send the width and height here. This function will take care, right? Then after that actually here you are giving the name of the file, and here canvas to data URL. So this line is actually creating the image. Okay, then it will download the image with this name only. Okay, so I think we covered all the features. Yeah, so we covered all the features. So I hope you like this video. Okay, so reason behind creating this video is I was working on a project which is larger than this for sure, and I was like creating a functionality where I need to manipulate the SVGs. Okay, so I thought it will be cool if I just fetch minimum features from there and create a video around it, so you guys like can understand how real-time applications works. And these small application you can create and upload, and you can create a website with this and monetize, and you can earn money also. Okay, because this is full-fledged feature only, and a lot of people like want to like alter the colors of the SVG, size of the SVG, or many things like you can do it here, and like uh, monetize this also, right? So I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you so much guys. Thank you.